Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, April Martinez and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I am Isani Caetano.
And I'm April Martinez. Good morning.
Good morning,
Isani.
and happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
It is the 13th of July.
July
We're
done.
mid-month.
July is
Right?
done.
It's done?
That's how I see it.
We're just at mid-month.
It's already, by the time you blink, it's going to be July 31st.
All right.
Yes, but
Man,
the
I'm
time
hoping
is
that it
going
goes
by.
a bit slower though, because I'm just enjoying the summer vibes, right?
Are
So
you?
It can't be, as fleeting as you would want it to be.
No, I don't want to be. I would want to slow down, but I think sometimes, like you said, when you are really busy making things happen, the time
Yeah.
is not on your hands. But it has been a good summer. I think it's been very eventful with all of the FIFA Cups and all of these other events and festivities going
Actually,
on.
there are things happening at home and abroad that we're all keeping up with, which makes
Yes.
it eventful,
It
right?
does.
Before we get into those conversations, though, let's jump into our show lineup for this morning, and then we could do everything else.
All right, so it is Monday morning, and for our Monday morning show, we are going to have our first conversation with mayoral aspirant from the People's United Party. Mr. Allan Pollard will be on the couch with us to discuss what he is hoping to gain from being of service to the people of Belize City as mayor. And in the second conversation, it's all about the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future as they issue out their fifth roll call for proposals. So you don't want to miss that conversation if you have a particular research in mind. And then in our last conversation, it's all about girls Empower Entrepreneur, summer program as they inspire young business leaders. And that does it for our show this morning with our conversations.
Sound like I'm going to struggle with that
I
one.
know it's Empower-preneurs.
There it is. There it is. Actually, think point,
All
right?
right.
The good English language, when you take piece of a word and piece of one and join it together, it's called a portmanteau.
But
Anyway,
you know
that's
what? You try to Empower-preneur 5 times and see how that work out for you.
All right, let's jump into our 5 things this morning. You know our 5 times that are 5 things,
All
right?
right.
Good. So this morning, it's sad news for many of us in the local entertainment and the music scene as we announce the passing of Kendall Simpson. We were also going to be discussing the opposition protest that was held on Friday, right? So it took place, we aired it as the lead item in the news, but we'll take some time this morning and kind of go into it, right? And along with that, on Friday as well, there was another smart stream leak, this time now introducing A&Y fresh veggies, right? This is again with the Ministry of Defense scandal. All right, and of course, as April mentioned, there was a lot happening in the world of FIFA. In this case, it's about World Cup 2026 and who made it out of the quarterfinals to advance to the semis, right? And of course, it's the eve of KTV remix.
Yes.
Right, another episode comes up tomorrow, and
The second
another session
episode.
comes up tomorrow with all of these great Belizean artists, right? So what I will do, April, this is the order, right? Mali, Arden, and my mind, right?
That way.
We'll appear the passing of Kendall Simpson with KTV remix lower in the conversation, right? So that when we discuss the opposition protest, then we could also pair that with A&Y.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the standalone is the World Cup,
Yeah,
right?
let's
All
get
right.
into it.
So let's go. Last week, there was sort of a build-up towards this demonstration to be held by the United Democratic Party amidst this ongoing scandal with the Ministry of Defense and all of these contractors who have been, you know, getting paid under the table. I say under the table because they're below the threshold, right? So we've been discussing this thing at length at this point, right? Now, Friday came and there was a protest through the streets of Belize City from the UDP headquarters at the foot of the Bell China to Battlefield Park in downtown Belize City, right? Now, this is the interesting thing for me. There are different metrics by which one could measure the impact or the lack thereof of these kinds of activities, right? Some people would say that an absolute strength in numbers gives you the position or the pulse of the Belizean people.
Yeah.
Others would say, yes, strength in numbers do matter, but symbolically, we're still sending a loud and resounding message. So you can argue it from two sides, right?
Yeah.
What works for you and perhaps what doesn't. But here is the thing. Many people would say, and perhaps it's a widely held sentiment, that it may have been a bit anticlimactic, right? So it's almost as if though we're anticipating something that's going to happen at a certain scale, but then it falls short of it.
Yeah.
And so before we get into the actual conversation, the whole numbers issue became a thing on Friday, right? One camp, they say 2,000. Another camp say, right, more like 500, right? But here is the thing. Regardless of how many people were in attendance or chose to sit this one out, what is taking place affects all of us, right? It affects all of us. And so while we saw Stand for Belize, we saw the UDP colors and everything, the unions were absent.
Yes.
Right? You only had Dean Flowers.
Yes, the
you only
president
had
of PSU.
the union senator. But where was BNTU? Where was the rest of PSU?
NTUC.
Where were all of these other people who, while yes, you don't want to seem as if though you're front and center of what appears to be a partisan movement, but like I said, the issue affects everybody.
But
right?
Isani, you can't help but look at it like a partisan.
Yes,
movement,
I'm not discounting that or downplaying it. This is a partisan thing, but like I said, the issue no partisan. The issue that
Across
everybody
the
who
board.
pays tax and dues, right? Everybody who stands for something, that affects us.
Yes.
Right? But I'm saying, yeah, you never had to the front and center of the thing, but to show up because there's a concern that affects us all, in my opinion, that's what we were looking for.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was looking through the social media and so forth about what people really think. I saw, like you said, the numbers are a little bit sketchy. Some people say 2,000, some people say 5, etc. For me, it wasn't so much the numbers as to what this movement represents, right? And as I was scrolling through social media, I saw a line from somebody that, well, a statement from somebody. I'm not going to say the name, but I just wanted to read the message because I wonder if people think about it in this manner. So the statement reads as such: "Pardon me, but the revolution has to come from the people. It will never come from the wolves who once dined on us and are only waiting for another turn at the carcass. Y'all do realize that they're not fighting for us. They're fighting over whose turn it is to strip the meat from our bones, package it, and sell it to us at $300 or above, 300% or above. Do not be fooled. It's the same monster looking for a better disguise, and jinkies, they're not even trying to make it less obvious."
Yeah, I like the Scooby-Doo
Yes.
reference there. All right, here we go, right? So, a little bit of history, right? 19 years ago, in 2005, I think, 21. Anyway, forgive my math, right? But in 2005, there was a movement of Belizean people, which included the unions, which included everybody who felt at the time that they were hard done by by the then Musa administration,
Yeah.
right? And that kind of groundswell led to civil disobedience in Belize, right? Belize City. And if we're thinking back, we remember the burning of tires on the Belcan Bridge,
Yes.
remember the looting downtown Albert Street, and all of that, right? But that's because at that point, people
were
had
tired.
gotten fed
Yep.
up with what the People's United Party government was doing then. So I don't know if it's the same kind of, it's the same kind of energy that some of us would have been anticipating. I say some of us because the conversation was being held, but if you're measuring it by that, and the fact that this is a partisan movement, then you'd fall short of it, because back then in 2005, that wasn't a partisan thing.
Yeah.
It just so happened that the then opposition, the UDP, latched on to it.
But
right?
it was
And kinda
a
rode the
riot
wave-
led by the people.
Yeah, and kind of rode the wave into office
Right.
on the back of that. But that was a people-led movement.
Yes.
So in this case, though, this is a partisan thing, but the buy-in from the broader public, I don't know, it kind of falls
But
short
let
of
me
it.
play devil's advocate,
Sure.
though, Isani, because for the better part of a year, you and I here, we've sat on this
Mm-hmm.
couch and we've saying we've not seen movement from the opposition. We're not seeing movement from the opposition,
Yeah.
and now we are.
Yes,
and
so we shouldn't be complaining
complaining
about
about
the case, because
yes.
I sat here, excuse me, last week or the week before, saying that this whole scandal and how we're putting it out there to the masses shouldn't just be a media versus the administration of the day thing. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be everybody, right?
Right.
Including the opposition. So now they've taken a bold step coming forward, and it seems as if though everybody else kind of stood on the sideline, right?
I wonder
But-
why that is, though. Is it
I don't know,
because it was a political movement?
And even if it was, well, since it is,
Yes.
right? Then you have to sort of question, this thing never happened with 2 days notice.
Yeah.
There was sufficient time
For you to gather yourselves.
and mobilize your people, right? And so my understanding is that some folks are busting from other parts of the country to come into Belize City for this
Yeah.
event. But if that's the case,
I
I
also
think they kind of, but hold on, April. No, I'm not going to hang up on the numbers thing
No,
too
no, no,
much,
I'm not-
because I guess that are the smoke screen that people want to throw out there for say, well, look.
that defeats the purpose of the entire thing.
Good, but so on the very same day, while these people were out there demonstrating and they took to Battlefield Park, and you had all of these union leaders who were there, including Dean Flowers, who spoke at the podium, and Senator Dennison, who also spoke at the podium, someone who has been working very, very, very diligently in the background, right, was sitting in front of the computer screen, they logged into SmartStream and say, okay, make a fire off this one and all, right? And this one is A&Y Fresh Vegetables, right? And they too have collected a pretty penny from the Ministry of Defense for providing vegetables. Now, my question, right? We have under 2,000 BDF men and women,
Yeah.
right? As an entire military, I'd say we're down at 2,000, right? Perhaps one of the smallest militaries you could think about, right? Then you also have the Belize Coast Guard, right? So if you put all of them together, I'd say look for about 3,000 people.
Thereabouts, yeah.
So how many contractors do we need to provide vegetables? I think that's a fair question I ask, right? How many contractors do we need to provide fresh vegetables?
Well,
Think about it.
I am
because
thinking
since
about
the
it.
beginning of this scandal, every other day we're naming a new vegetable supplier. Every other day, when we name those new vegetable suppliers, it's the same modus operandi, sub $10,000, right?
Yeah.
And I was speaking with someone over the course of the weekend, yesterday actually, and this person is retired from the public service, but very familiar with how procurement and how all of these things supposed to work, right? And it was reiterated that this is illegal. It flies in the face of whatever legislation or whatsoever is in place that says this is how it ought to be.
Yeah.
Right? So that was reiterated to know that, to say, sorry, that we already know that it's wrong.
Yeah.
But just reminding the public, look, this thing here, people supposed to answer for this to court if that
Somebody
the
should
case.
be held accountable, yes.
Right? So, again, I ask the question, how many vegetables and meat providers does the Ministry of Defense need to feed, let's say, roughly 3,000 people?
Yeah, I wonder about it too.
On a daily basis, I put it that way then.
And I think about how I often try to personalize it, right? Because when it comes to produce, I know that you can't just buy produce and thinking it'll last, right? I think produce normally lasts like a week, depending on where you are. So I would like to think that on a weekly basis, you are buying produce. I don't know how sustainable, and this is where I question why choose these establishments to buy these goods from. Because if you are a large establishment supplying the Ministry of Defense, you're looking to supply over 2,000 people with produce, you need to be able to constantly have that service done, right? And when it comes to produce,
perhaps that
you're kind of...
Okay, so
right?
perhaps that explains why you have multiple...
For produce, I'm not saying about the other. I'm talking specifically about fruits and vegetables. Because on a weekly basis, you have to constantly replenish, right? And I mean, if you're a farmer, you know more than I do, but that isn't always the case, especially for 2,000 people, right?
So certain things are seasonal.
Right.
Right? Certain things you have to sort of subcontract in a sense, right? You have to go out there and find other people who could provide
so
that.
Where perhaps this particular farm doesn't have, you have to go to the other. So when it comes to produce, I'm looking at it in that way. When it comes to the other sources, I don't know if you need it. You know?
Yeah, but again, I'm just asking that question because every other day a new
item comes out. But I mean, speaking just of the way that you know, the minister is handling the situation, and I believe the last interview that Paul had with him, he's like, it's back to work as usual. He knows that he's no longer the Minister of Defense, but he's still an area rep for Belmopan. And what we saw, particularly over the weekend, was him and his council over at Belmopan working to ensure that everybody was secure for the flood. Now, a lot of people have their own opinions about seeing the minister in flooded waters posing for photos during the midst of the flood.
good old photo op?
The good old photo op. Because Sana, you're not going in a flood in a short pants and boots. Like, that's just not logical in my eyes, right? But a lot of people were having their own opinions as to you're just trying to ensure that we see you working to kind of remove yourself from the situation that is taking place.
Let's be fair, right? Area Representative Oscar Mira was doing what he was supposed to do in a situation where his constituents were in distress.
Yes.
Good. That make we just put it that way there. So whatever other scandal that may befall, you know, he's still supposed to get out there and help the people.
Absolutely agree.
Good. So now if he uses that as part of a PR campaign to kind of remove that blemish that hangs over him right now, some would say it's distasteful.
Yes.
Fair enough. But our politician will deal with.
But
so
also,
we have to understand that as well. Everything for a politician has to do with mileage and face time.
But you also have to understand that right now, in the eyes of the public, nothing that he does is genuine anymore. The betrayal and the trust is completely severed. So while I completely agree with you that you have to show you have to ensure that your people are safe, despite of everything that's taking place. Belizeans, you know, we are make fun of every single bad thing, right? And the amount of commentary and so forth, of course, right? We are at a moment where it's, how do you say, it's too soon, right? We understand
to say, look, Belmopan, in the face of an unusual flooding situation, I'm here and I'm working.
Yeah,
despite all the millions in the background.
But you can go out and work. I don't need to see all of your photos on Facebook. Go out and work. Do your thing. But in my mind, we don't need to see it all over.
The man went to Facebook, or his people went to Facebook a couple of weeks ago when they were introducing new roads that had been pushed, right?
Yes.
But he's, in my opinion, again, I try to be fair as possible. he is acting in his capacity as an area representative. So these are things that, in my opinion, you're supposed to be doing.
But I'm not.
If you want to self-praise or you want to put yourself out there and say, well, look, see, I did work.
And that's it right there. I'm not disagreeing that what he is doing is wrong. He has to, right?
Yeah.
It's literally in his job description.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that the commentary from the people right now, we don't want to see you plastering it because it makes it look disingenuous. And so you have to just work. Just do your work, and it will speak for itself when the time comes.
I like this
right?
this segue, though. It's so smooth that we went from what's happening in the Ministry of Defense to the flash flood over the weekend, right? So you're from Belmopan.
That wild.
Talk to me about it.
That is the commentary. It was. I don't think as a resident, I don't think I've ever seen it this bad. While you have certain areas, of course, that don't have drainage, that's inevitable. But for Central Belmopan, particularly like across the street from the Agric and Trade Show by Caribbean Tires, that area, for that to be completely underwater to the point that people couldn't drive in. That's all water that you're seeing coming off. We've never seen it like that, and I don't think that any of us anticipated that this rain would have caused that much flooding. And I know the Meteorological Service did put out a warning, but Belmopan is supposed to be that area where we're supposed to be safe, right?
That's where we run from when we run for hurricane.
And so for this to happen, my yard was completely flooded. There was water inside my home, and I live in the Central, so I could imagine about the persons that were living in the outskirts, places like G&W. They were completely trapped within their residency, and Belmopan people that were trying to go out into Belize City and people that were trying to get into Belmopan from Belize City were stuck in traffic for hours, Isani. I saw some of our friends on Facebook say that they have been here since 9:30 and traffic no move.
Here is the irony, right? The last time we reported on a flooding situation, it was the area of the coastal road that was underwater. Now, on Saturday, they were advising motorists to go through the coastal road, because the last time we tell people come through the Hummingbird, come through Belmopan, forget out. No, it's the other way around, right?
It's insanity, and you know, these are the moments when we think about remember when you're talking about strategizing or re-strategizing a disaster and emergency plan. Even us in Belmopan, we have to now re-strategize and see how we take these things on. But that was insane. I had a whole day planned for do this kind of work, and I was trapped in Belmopan.
Maybe that's a good thing. Get some rest.
Sure.
Come back to work well rested on Monday. But let's move along, right? Obviously over the weekend, so I guess while you guys and my friends and family in Belmopan were stuck in place,
yes,
at least you probably had a chance to watch the World Cup games?
Yes, man.
All right, so there we go, right? What are your thoughts on the World Cup games?
I had a joke to tell you, right? And I said, I left it until I sat on the couch with you. I said, I believe it was Friday. I was having lunch at an establishment, and I guess one of our viewers, he turned around and he asked me, right, if we're going to talk about I believe it was the Spain and Belgium game that was taking place. And I tell him, I guess whichever colonizer you want to win this round, we're going with this one.
Wow.
Right? And so we kind of hash it out, and then I believe Spain was the one that ended up on top. But I love when viewers stop and talk to us about their commentary, because you know what he tell me? He say, tell Isani about this. I say, yes, man, tell Isani, we can talk about it Monday. It tells me that one, they're watching, and two, we're all kind of sort of batting it out wherever we are.
Right? But okay, so I'm glad you kind of went there with the colonizer thing, even though it kind of touches a little bit. But I don't look to sports, particularly on the world stage, to look at race relations and politics. And I've said this, right? Because I get skewered for saying that I support Argentina as a fan of World Cup football. People rate me over the coal for that, right? It's about the people that are racist.
We are, though.
I don't look at football on the field for that. I really don't. If we're talking about racism if we're talking about all the other travesties that have befallen mankind, then we could talk about things where they happen at UN, things where they happen at the World Court, and so on. All right, put that there. But if I'm watching football, I'm only watching two teams go at it to try to advance to another round of play. So I am taken up with the technical aspect of it.
Yeah.
Not all the other surrounding noise, right? A mind, now a very, very simple proverb, right? Don't worry about noise in the market, check your change.
All right.
So them guys on the football field, Messi and all of them, their sole intent is to score against
The other
team and move on. That's it. That's the way I concern myself with. Now if we talk about history and we talk about politics and race relations that has to do with Argentina, that has to do with Spain and all of these other countries, then we could have a separate conversation about that.
I think that
That's just my
for
opinion.
a lot of the people that, and particularly for me, because I do pay attention to the World Cup, and this is not the first World Cup that I've paid so much attention to. But I think for me, this year has been super exciting because we've been hearing about teams that have, one, never made it.
Yeah.
Two, we've never seen this many African teams advance into the semifinals the way that we did.
And there's an argument about the Africanization of the World Cup.
Indeed.
But yes, go
right?
ahead.
And so I think that a lot of people now with social media are paying close attention to all of those facets, more so than I think I would have in the past, right?
So let me argue from this point of view, April. Is it to say then that before social media became a thing where you could tweet your comments in real time, that the racial undertones were always there? We just
Yes.
never have a facet for
Agreed.
let it out?
Absolutely.
All right.
And so I find that with the social media now, it's kind of been amplified more so than I think you and I are used to.
Yeah.
But I don't watch World Cup for the same reason. I enjoy the sport. I do watch football outside of the World Cup. I do enjoy watching some of my. I think that for me, the England and Norway game was very important. I liked Norway, but I also like Jude Bellingham a lot. So I think because two friends were playing on opposite ends, that was the game for me. I never so much when it looked at England and Norway, right? And I imagine that a lot of people were locked into the Argentina game. Of course, because Argentina is a favorite team. But now what I'm looking forward to, now that all of my other teams are been eliminated, because I really was riding with Norway. I was more riding with Norway because I was very happy for them making it for the first time in a long time. It would have been their first win. But now we have all of these teams that have already won the World Cup before. And so now everybody just the fight, whether you're an Mbappe fan, a Messi fan, a Jude Bellingham fan. Those are the players, right? So now we're looking to those teams. So I want to just wear my Mbappe jersey till I ride it out.
These four that are now at the semifinals are the top four teams across the world in terms of football, right?
Indeed.
And so some would say this was in the making, right? This may be the ultimate showdown, right? And I don't know who you're betting on or betting against, but I'm thinking that it's going to be, Argentina and France.
I was thinking that too.
Facing off from 2022 when Messi did it to Mbappe.
I know,
right?
I know. They're coming back for their
deja vu moment where that is.
He to come back for a crown is what I'm hoping for.
All right, so quickly though, let's jump into music and entertainment, right? So as I mentioned at the top of the 5 things, Belize and those of us who are into music and cultural entertainment or the Belizeanness of it all are mourning the passing of Ken Doyle Simpson. Now, for people who may not know who Ken Doyle Simpson is, I regard him as one of the contemporary producers of Belizean music, right? Because when I talk certain names, you have to look. I call it like a triumvirate, right? The holy trinity of Belizean producers, right? Contemporary ones at that. So I think Ken Doyle Simpson, I think June Mar, and I think about DJ Perf, right? Those are my holy trinity of contemporary producers. And what I enjoyed about Ken Doyle's production work is that he is multi-talented in the sense that he could go from producing for one genre to another seamlessly.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, coming up in radio and you hear these names, he was working with Melanie Gillett at one point. Then the other time I followed up on him, he was out in the region working with other Caribbean artists, right? Again, expanding his reach in music. And when you have a loss like this, you know, and I think perhaps for a while the name had been dormant.
Yeah.
But his work, you still can't take away from what the man contributed.
I believe he was going to do a concert
right?
soon.
Yes.
He was going to be part of a concert soon. Yeah, but the specific cause of his death is not disclosed to the public just yet.
Yeah.
But we do want to say condolences to his family, to his friends. He was an instrumental stalwart in the music industry here in Belize. You know, he worked with Niche for a long time through the Institute of Creative Arts. And so, you know, we just...
If I'm not mistaken, I see him interview there.
That was you, right? Yeah, that was you. That was in our old set. Yeah, I remember. But we just wanted to say our condolences. But names like him, right, are the ones that make Belizean arts what we know of it today. And just kind of segueing into our next conversation about
so
KTV.
Speaking about Ken Doyle,
yes,
Ken Doyle has also been instrumental with KTV in terms of the music and the arrangements where that is concerned, right? So again, from the GBM family, we also do extend our sincere condolences to Ken Doyle's family and of course his fans as well. All right, so now to cap things off, right? Like I mentioned earlier, tomorrow is your second opportunity to head out to the Bliss, right? Things are warm up, some people going home, right? And if you want to ensure that your performer or your contestant of choice remains there, you have to vote. Goes without saying that they only are there based on your vote, right? So I'll take this opportunity to remind you guys that you can, of course, you know, vote by text messaging, right?
Yes.
It's a text vote, right? And you just, you know, select the person who you think performed well last week ahead of tomorrow.
Yes, because I think that it's always important to remind viewers that no matter how much you favor a contestant, they can't advance to the next level without your vote. The judges can say whatever they want to say, but if you don't vote, then they don't advance. So it's up to you. But I do want to end off with some of our commentary from our viewers on Facebook. I always love and appreciate when you guys talk to us online, because then we get to have you be a part of the conversation. So in light of the conversation we were having with the flooding and so forth, Raswell says climate change is real, and that it is why we're seeing all these changes in the weather, because when our Mother Nature says it's coming to do damage, nothing is going to stop it. And Belmopan is not high. San Ignacio Cayo is the high point.
And even San Ignacio has been inundated several times.
Yes, several times. But also I agree, I think people, yes, while Belmopan is safe, like with gusty winds and so forth when it comes to hurricanes, because we have all of the topography and so forth with trees, we're still kind of low-lying at the end of the day. And then Manny Gio, I think this is coming towards our conversation with World Cup. He says, I'm pretty sure Haaland, Messi, and Mbappe haven't colonized anyone. Let people have nice things. I'm with you, Manny. I had to just throw it out there. But thank you so much for engaging with us. We really appreciate having the conversation with you here on the couch and of course online. But Isani, we do gotta segue into our break for this morning. Our next conversation is going to be with Mayor Aspirant for the People's United Party, Mr. Allan Pollard. You don't want to miss that conversation. We'll be right back.
Football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
Belize assumes the presidency pro tempore of the Central American Integration System, CICA. Over the next 6 months, Belize's presidency will focus on strengthening the region's integration agenda, with priority placed on cooperation in energy, climate change, migration, and security. A strong and effective regional integration is the foundation upon which a better future for all Central Americans must be built.
We at Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Running a business means every dollar counts.
As a business owner, you face different challenges every day. You need cash flow on hand as soon as you can.
With Belize Bank's same-day settlement, transactions settled by 4 p.m. are credited the very same night.
The same-day settlement will definitely make a difference for my business because I know I have money in the bank so I can pay my suppliers, my staff, etc.
Faster access to your funds, better cash flow, greater control. And with auto settlement, it's done for you every day. Same-day settlement from Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
And welcome back. Joining us this morning for a conversation about his political aspirations is Belize City Councillor Allan Pollard Jr. We're going to be having quite an interesting conversation with you this morning, my brother. There's a lot of developments that we can get into. Good morning.
Morning, Isane. Morning, April. Thanks for having me.
Certainly. Allan, let's begin by talking about your journey in electoral politics and the experiences that you've had as a member of the People's United Party, and of course the work that you've done for the Belize City residents. Okay.
Well, firstly, it started for me fairly young. I started at 23 years old, the first time I began campaigning. Before that, I was involved with the communications committee for the party, just doing PR. At that time, being a candidate was nowhere in sight. But 2023, the opportunity came around to join the Rebirth team, which was at that time younger, more diverse group of individuals, which I added to that. And then I started campaigning. We went house to house. This was a time where obviously the UDP was in power at the time. PUP hadn't won an election in years.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult starting, but it was a great experience for me, and I think I've learned a lot since then. We got elected in 2018, March, and from then I assumed the role of the councillor responsible for traffic, special events, public relations, and then 2 consecutive elections thereafter in the municipal space. So, and of course, being elected deputy mayor for 4 years out of the 8 so far.
Yeah.
Well, this is my 9th year. So it's been an interesting journey. I'm grateful for the opportunity that the People's United Party has given me. I think overall, it's one of the political organizations with the most history, a wealth of institutional knowledge around. And of course, what we believe in on the social justice agenda was, kind of exactly where I wanted to align at the time. And I'm glad and grateful that I made that choice. No?
What did you see that was necessary for you to actually run? Because you said you never saw candidacy as a part of your journey. So why did you think you needed to run?
I think it was several things. At the time, I was more of a advocate in the sense of, like what we see right now on social media, a lot of people on there complaining or giving their opinions on what they believe is wrong with the system. I was one of those at one point in time. But I'm also a firm believer in why complain and if you're not doing nothing about it, right? So at the time, I was a new business owner, and I made this step. It was a difficult decision to arrive to once I was asked. But after consultation with the family and everybody, it's like, I said to myself, I would want to be the part of the change. I wouldn't want to be a part of the group would just sit back and do nothing. So that was the approach for me, and I'm happy it went well.
Along the way, you've had some challenges.
Correct.
I mean, any politician will tell you it's never an easy or smooth ride as it's made out to be.
Correct.
Right? Some of those challenges are internal. Some of those challenges are with your opposition in terms of elections and campaigning and what have you. What would you say at this point, all things considered, has been your biggest challenge in terms of cementing yourself and establishing your name as part of Belizean politics?
I think the biggest challenge would be where history is concerned for my part is balancing like personal ambition with, I'd say, the general idea of the party. I think those two things have clashed sometime in the past. And of course, it would be easy for me to say, it's not going things are not going my way. Yeah. Well, I just want to step away and do one thing. But I don't believe that, I think with time and growth overall and maturity as a politician, I think I've learned to balance both, knowing that, yes, you have your personal ambition and yes, you could do it. I don't think none of those times where I stepped forward in saying that I wanted to do this, I thought that I wasn't capable, or I thought that it wouldn't work out well for me. But at the same time, I do understand that I am a part of a wider organization and a wider platform. And, with growth and time, you realize that, in some cases, you have to listen, no? And not only listen, but you have to participate in a way whereby it's still healthy for the environment.
How do you reconcile the idea that you have your own ambitions that you want to see through, but at the same time, the party or the organization is telling you, okay, perhaps you just want to pump the brakes a little bit and wait until the right opportunity presents itself. And for the party, their idea of the right opportunity may not necessarily be where you're seeing yourself in this particular moment.
Correct.
How do you reconcile the two things?
Well, for me, I'll be honest. I think a lot of it, yes, at the time, there's moments where you are upset, you're disappointed. But at the same time, I'm pretty much big on faith. So for me, I pray about a lot of things and kind of put things into perspective from God's point of view, whereby, some things aren't blocking you, or delaying you, but maybe just preparing the stage for something else. So I look at it like maybe I wasn't ready back then, or maybe God is seeing something that I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. So I just look at it that way, and of course continue push on and make sure at the end of the day, while there is disappointment, I'm always prepared. So any opportunity that comes, I'm making sure that, all right, well, the Allan that wanted to run 3 years ago, that the same Allan, or even better. You know, I've grown since then.
Lessons learned, right?
Lessons learned. I've grown tremendously, and I've been complimented greatly up by the same people who back then told me that, you know, Allan, I think we need to go a different direction or whatever. So those same people 3 years after are like, you know, we're very proud of you and how much you've matured and how well you're handling yourself after everything.
You entered the political fray at 23 years, right?
Correct.
Not the best math person here, but 23 plus 9, you're in your early 30s. Still, 31 years old, right? How do you look at the political landscape that expands to include more young people? Because you started off young,
correct,
and we always say when I look for politics, alone woman and old lady they run, but then the voting population alone young people, right? So what are your thoughts on that?
I think for me, when I look at the journey overall, and we could harp on the disappointments and the setbacks and all of that, the challenges, but I think the biggest mission for me, and I do take some level of pride and, you know, some level of credit as well for opening the floodgates for what we're seeing now. I've seen countrywide whereby there are a lot of younger candidates entering politics, and I do believe to some degree, I think if I've never taken that first step, and not only the first step, but I think in office, the way I carried myself and the successes we've had as an elected official, as a young elected official, I do think I personally opened the doors for a lot of people who, you know, want to run. And I've had countless conversations with many young aspirants. I've had text messages, calls with people just asking for advice, you know, people asking for direction and how to get in, and, you know, so that has been one of the most rewarding things for me. I could stop today and look back and say, well, I think having youth participation in politics was one of those things that I can, you know, I could really look at and say that, all right, well, I'm satisfied with what I've done so far within the political fray in Belize.
I want to take the conversation in a different direction, because you are running for, hopefully, a mayoral candidacy. You have an opponent within the People's United Party. You've been a councillor for your political career. I don't go at Mazida, right? But it's very different once you're in the mayoral seat, right? And there is a lot of money to be handled. There's a lot of projects that need to be done. And I know you understand from a councillor's perspective the decision making that takes place. But how are you going to, or how do you plan then to ensure that there is a good balance within the projects, to ensure that there's taxes that are needed to be paid, to ensure that the budget is being handled the way that it should be?
Correct. I do think there's a wealth of knowledge where I'm concerned in terms of leading those initiatives. From the onset, I've always been at the forefront of what you'd call the larger portfolios, the more taxing in terms of personal strength. No, I think at the traffic department, I've led major initiatives on making sure that we expand the department to where it is today. And of course, that's one of the more bustling revenue generating departments, right? That's over $500,000 every year, every month. And so similarly, moving over to infrastructure in my second term, which I served 2 years, that's where the bulk of the money is spent from the council. Maintaining the city streets, paving, etc. I think there's a lot that I've done in terms of looking at how we manage a very tight budget, and of course making sure that we deliver the goods and services that the people expect of us. In addition to that, I have served 4 years as deputy mayor. So during that time, whenever the mayor is out, I then assume directly responsibility for some of what the mayor has to handle. And that includes budgeting, that includes making sure that people are paid on time, making sure that we procure properly, and of course leading the management team and the entire administration. So in terms of the knowledge, I don't doubt that I don't have the the institutional knowledge at the council. I've been there through the pandemic, through some difficult times. As the council responsible for labor relations, I have sat in integral negotiations with the CWU and making sure that we had our collective bargaining agreement signed and working out stuff with HR. So I have a well-rounded background as it relates to the council. There's no department at City Hall that I don't necessarily think that would be a challenge for me. Of course, the council comes with its own challenges. We have to learn how to forecast properly. We have to do proper cash flow management, etc. But where the finance is concerned, we plan to bring in a team, finance team, that will ensure that we tackle those challenges that may arise.
Let's talk hard politics.
I
Your favorite topic.
I thought that was what we were talking about this whole time.
with a glass and leave it. So let's jump in now, right?
Correct.
So, from an outsider's point of view, Mayor Wagner and yourself, and perhaps several others who rose to prominence in 2018, thereabout, did so with Colonel Hyde being the kingmaker, so to speak, right? The whole zinc fence movement is the platform upon which you guys came into office. Now we're seeing a change in the political landscape in Belize City, where it's arguable that he's no longer the kingmaker and that you have other people in the background who are championing their own candidate or have their own influence over what the landscape will shape out to be next year, March 2027, right? When you look internally though, it's a situation where you have your allegiance to that movement, and out of that, to some extent, comes Eliud Miller, who is married into the family, right? But you guys are now facing each other as opponents going into a convention. What are your thoughts on the fact that you're coming from the same background, you're both young, you both have ambitions that you want to see manifest if you are to be elected as mayor ultimately? You're still not reached the UDP crowd yet. You're still there internally, right? What are your thoughts on how that is shaping out and how people are pitting you against each other?
I think it's, at the end of the day, one of the most difficult things for me is that you have two talented individuals, young individuals who are in the political space now for the PUP. I think there was a time where that was non-existent, right? You never have, you know, all this talent around. From a younger standpoint, I'm talking. Of course, you have the more mature ministers who have been there. But I think one of the most disappointing part is that, all right, we're putting these two candidates together rather than seeing how we could make it work together. And I think there's a lack of succession planning there, right? Which is unfortunate, but of course, at the end of the day, like you said, this is hard politics, so that comes with the territory. But it's something on the other side of that, on the flip end, I welcome, because I know this is a democratic movement. Similarly, with the ambitions that I have as a young individual, I think other people have the same ambitions as well. So I do find it as healthy as long as we keep it healthy within each other. And I think me and Mr. Miller have a relationship that I think is professional, and both of us do enjoy the mutual respect that we have for each other. So I do welcome it. At the end of the day, like you said, there are different factions to which we, we are aligned to, and that in itself, I do believe that is also professional and cordial as well. One thing has been consistent, and you mentioned, I don't know where you were going with mentioning Mr. Hyde and the Kingmaker or others who plan to be Kingmakers.
We see it as that. I mean, I'm up on the outside, right? I do the coverage and the reporting, and I know who that the power players in the background, right?
Correct. But then you know, if you're aware, then you know that hasn't changed, and I don't think that plans to change anytime soon. I mean, once we get over this hump, I mean, the first people they'll go to is the same names that you called, right?
But I'm saying
to deliver the city.
Yes, I'm saying to you, Allan, that you have other players in the pool now, right?
Of course.
You have the Fonseca camp.
Okay.
Some would say you have the Mala camp, right? Then you have the Colonel Hyde camp. What I'm saying is, when you guys came in 2018, it was primarily on the Cordell Hyde camp. Now the party is popular, and you have all of these other people who are, in a sense, power brokers too.
Yeah.
So if they know you per se, but they want Elude or anybody else, it's no longer solely within Cordell's remit for someone like he will be the person. I think that's the reason why at this point you're going to convention, because that never played out the way how perhaps you guys would have wanted it to play out.
I think it's an unfair assessment to say.
Okay.
I will give credit to where the Deputy Prime Minister is concerned. He's had played an integral part in making sure that he's putting the right team together and kind of like mobilizing the direction of where he wanted to go in that campaign in 2018. But as far as the camps go, there were a lot of other people who played integral roles as well. Some of the city reps, Anthony Mallers, he was instrumental. Some of the meetings that we were involved in, he was at the table. Minister Fonseca, he was there as well. The chairman of the party, Henry Charles. I think there's a lot of people and a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes. While DPM might be the one that's out there, and of course the ones that is most popular around the city, there are a lot of people who I think we don't give enough credit to, who was a part of that movement as well. So I think one of the success of 2018, and it's something that the party has to pay attention to, was that unity between all the reps. That I think was one of the major success of why the Rebirth team propelled the way it did, right? We had the Freetown, the north side, coming in with big numbers with Freetown and Caribbean Shores. We had Port Loyola coming out, Lake Eye, massive support as usual, the Pickstock, which at the time we just saw the rise of Anthony Mahler as a rep within the city. I think all of that played an integral role in what we call the success of 2018.
But I think what Isane is trying to allude to is the fact that when you made your announcement for candidacy, of course you had a rally of people behind you. When Mr. Miller made his pledge to candidacy, he had a councillor rally behind him.
A majority
of the councillors behind him. I think it's safe to say that it looks from the public eye that he has his party backing him and you have your people backing you, right? Are you confident going into convention that you will have that same support from your party?
Yes, definitely. I think one of the things that I've done is remain consistent with what I believe in ever since. I've formed sort of a bond early with these people in 2017, and these are the people who remain with me today as key supporters, and we're seeing it, right? I think I wouldn't necessarily, being the mature candidate that I am, and the experience that I have, I wouldn't make that mistake in terms of just banking on political support in terms of my colleagues or ministers, etc. I think there's a big reason why I gave in my application that day amongst the people rather than with politicians. At the end of the day, we're saying that we need votes, we need people to support us. And at the end of the day, I always make sure that whatever I'm doing in the political sphere is centered around those same people, right? So whether it be conversations, whether it be campaigning, or whether it be giving in my application, I like to be surrounded by the people. I like to make sure that what I'm doing is aligned with the people as well. One of the things that made this candidacy very special to me was when I applied. You know, in the past, it was just me giving my application saying that, you know, I want to run. This time around, it's kind of different because before I even got into the conversation, I never announced anything. I never said I wanted to be the next mayor or anything like that. But the amount of comments and the amount of people who were posting and automatically installing me in that conversation to me was a very special feeling. So it was maybe, I could look at it as a call to action on my part, you know. So, you know, the people are asking for me to run. And not only asking, but they're expecting me to run. So just answering that call to them, I think it's very special.
We'll look at the prospects of that in a bit. We got to take a quick commercial break. And when, of course, we come back, we will be talking more with Allan Pollard and talking Belize City politics. Stay with us.
When a child is asked to marry or live like an adult in an intimate relationship before turning 18, this is called child marriage or early union. Belize law states that no one under the age of 18 can get married. Even with the alleged consent of parents, it is illegal.
To learn more, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
12 incredible voices, 12 dreams, one stage. And now the power is in your hands. For this week, each contestant has been assigned a voting number. To vote for your favorite KTV contestant, simply text the number of votes, followed by a space, then your contestant's assigned voting number, and send it to 585. You can also support your favorite contestant by sending credit directly to their assigned smart number. Every vote does more than keep your favorite contestant on the stage. It brings them one step closer to their dream.
I'd rather be blind, oh, 'cause I don't wanna watch you walk away.
It's that midnight sun kiss, skin under the red sky, laying on your chest like this. Hold me like the pebbles in your hand.
Them only come round for the benefit and make me ask why me they blame for everything me head has been. Took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out yesterday. Don't you know that
Hey, are you someone who can do that? 'Cause I don't wanna have to show ya.
no alarms and no surprises, please. I can't love you in the dark.
Déjame sobrepasar tu zona de peligro hasta provocar tus gritos y que olvides tu apellido.
So much people are ball, people are dead. Suicide cause nobody no believe in a them. Rich I get rich and the poor not even cast.
So watch your broken dreams dancing out of the beams of a neon moon.
Who impressed you the most? Support your favorite KTV star. Voting closes Sunday at midnight.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, and the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God, Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Welcome back. Continuing from where we left off before the commercial break, we were discussing with Councillor Pollard about nomination day for him and the fact that he was with his people as opposed to with other councillors from City Hall. Now, my question for you, Allan, is again one where people are looking at what's taking place from an outside point of view. You're in the belly of the beast. But from where we stand, some people would say, well, you have to deal with betrayal from within as well, because some people would have started off with you, some people would have been in your corner, and when we saw Elud's nomination day, and he was surrounded by all of these other councillor candidates now, some people would say, man, jump ship, pio. How do you look at that?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is that I'm somebody that don't really necessarily take things personal. It's one of my strengths, and it's a skill that I think people who want to become politicians someday need to develop.
Thick skin.
Yeah, you have to have thick skin. So, you know, my colleagues, they made a decision to submit their applications on the same day with them. And I don't fault any of them for it. All of them have their personal reasons and their personal interests, and that is something that I wouldn't hold them, you know, I wouldn't hold that against them, right, as individuals. But I will say, I mean, on the day when I submitted, I said I rather have the 700 delegates rather than the seven councillors, you know, and I mean that in a way whereby, you know, I would much rather share that moment with the people, right? And I think that, yes, the support of your colleagues are important in terms of when we cross the bridge in the council room, right? But for right now, we have over 20 something, I don't know the exact number, but new candidates as well, people who are vying for that position. So for me, I wouldn't lock myself in with just the people who I'm there with, but I'm open to see what the new applicants bring, and there's some that are very exciting to me. So once we cross that bridge of who's locked in, then I think it's important of getting that support around the table.
But are you confident then that if you are elected as mayor and you still have these persons within your council that you can work and you can deliver?
Of course, and I have to say that we share an excellent relationship with these colleagues, with my colleagues, right? All of them, they understand me, they understand my style, and I understand them and their expectations as well. So for me, in terms of working with them or feeling that there will be any undermining or any disruptions or anything like that, that's not a fear of mine whatsoever. I think they're professionals at the end of the day, and of course and I say my as the mayor and them as councillors, the mission is the same, to deliver the goods of service of the people.
I think that one of the commentaries that have been floating around is that the youth aspect that you are campaigning on, there is not confidence in it. We still feel like you need to mature a little bit more. We still feel like you need more experience. What do you say to commentaries like that?
Well, I think I've done an excellent job in terms of making sure that people understand the capabilities of young people generally, right? Yes, we've had, people had the pleasure of enjoying much mature candidates in the mayor's seat. But I am saying to these same people that let's go younger and see what could happen. Because I personally believe, and I tell people all the time, we've done a lot of work in there in terms of bringing Belize City to where it is right now, with all the events, with all the modern ideas and stuff like that. So there's a significant amount of modernization that went into there because of young creative minds that were there. But I am saying the next step and the next chapters of Belize City, we can't be closed-minded in terms of, all right, well, we're just going to be traditional in the way we think. I think young people have a lot to deliver where the city is concerned. And I think giving that chance, and I think we're hearing it out there among the residents that even them, they're looking for younger people who are creative, people who can, at the end of the day, bridge the gap between who would call the older folks and the younger folks. And I think at this time it's necessary.
So here's how I look at it, Allan. At this point, on either side of the political divide, you have two candidates, right?
Yes.
So on the People's United Party's end, you have yourself and Elude Miller. On the UDP's end, you have Damian Goff and you have Jackie Willoughby, right? Now, whatever comes of the convention between yourself and Elude, it's still a young person, just about 30 or early 30s, going up against whoever comes out victorious from the UDP's end is an older person, more seasoned, you would say. Even though for both of those candidates, they've never really taken part in an election where they are the candidates themselves, right? So maybe they're green, where putting themselves front and forward is one thing against you guys who now have some experience under your belt. But Belizean people are very traditional, very conservative, right? We say we're set in our ways, right?
And the persons
so that looking at a younger person at the helm of City Hall, for some or for many, is still a foreign idea, right? Now, if we look at that, and I want to compare it to what's taking place in New York, for instance, where you have Zoran Mamdani comes in as a young person, vibrant, comes with this whole energy, and he's changing the way how things are working there. But that's because that sea change that took place in the United States, in New York, for instance, people are already there mentally. Then telling themselves, all right, this is the best option, and against all odds, we're going with he's there now. I don't know that in Belize, we're there just yet. People are still thinking, wow, we need somebody where, you know,
Plus, your voters are more mature. We don't see a lot of those youth votes coming out.
I think it's just time and season. I don't believe that there's any difference between what's happening in New York and what's happening in Belize. I think that's a global call that's happening for younger candidates. All right, if you have an 80-something-year-old president, and you know that's there, yes, and I think we've seen the effects of that. That's clearly documented, right? So what's happening in New York is just a response to that. I think it's the resistance that the people have, that they're saying, listen, we need something else, we need something new. In terms of Belize, I don't think it's a fair assessment to say that we're strictly traditional and we only want older candidates. I just think is what was presented to us all this time. All right, I just think it was just older candidates giving themselves after retirement. What we've seen in, I forgot what year it was, maybe 98, when Curdell Hyde and Marcus Spat and Godfrey Smith and these guys were giving themselves up. They were like 25 years old, younger than I am. Right, so I don't believe that it's any traditional thinking in terms of the Belizean people are fixed in what they expect the age of their candidates supposed to be, or their leaders. I just think what has presented itself has not been consistent in young leaders over time. And I do believe as young people, and I must say, there's sometimes you will get a shot, but our responsibility is to ensure that once we're in that position, we carry ourselves in a way whereby, you know, people don't regret giving us that chance in the first place, right? I think I've done an excellent job on that. We've seen it in the numbers. They gave me a shot in 2018. I came back to re-election and I topped the polls. It was for me, it wasn't surprising, but at the same time, it was overwhelming to see that, you know, people, they're satisfied with the work that I've done. And then I went to election again and topped the polls and had the biggest number of votes that I've ever had. So it just shows the track record and how people view the way you lead, period.
So if elected and under your leadership, what will Belize City look like?
Belize City, for me, my vision, I'll say, being a young candidate, you definitely have to be progressive, right? So I do plan on developing more of some of the ideas that we have here. We've done a lot in terms of modernization. We've done a lot in terms of aesthetics across the city. But I do plan to have more impactful projects in terms of developing our coastlines. We're seeing climate change coming at some speeds where, you know, we never forecasted.
We still try to figure it out.
We still try to figure it out. So those are the things that I want to tackle early. There's a lot of public spaces that I want Belize to enjoy, that Belizeans can enjoy. And of course, the only way to enjoy that is making sure that it's safe, right? So safety is one of the priorities that I plan to bring into my thing, because you've heard all the time mayors talking about, crime, our national issue, it's a national security issue, we shouldn't dabble in that. But what's the point of putting all the infrastructure in? We're investing all the people's resources in making sure this park look good, making sure this look good, and then people don't want to come out because they don't feel safe. All right? So I think it's very counterproductive to what we're trying to do or what we're trying to develop. So that will definitely be one of the hallmark areas that I plan to do. And it will take collaboration, of course, making sure we have more boots on the ground, cameras, better lighting. Of course, we want to have livable spaces, making sure that we're back to the basics. Making sure the garbage is picked up, the drainage is cleaned, and of course just living in a city whereby I think it works for everybody. I'm a young entrepreneur. I do believe there's a lot of economic opportunities for local business vendors, etc. We do plan on expanding on that. I have a project right now for the Southside Belize City that I don't want to unveil as yet, but it will definitely boost revenue where Southside is concerned.
My final question for you, Allan. Have you given any thought to the idea that you can lose this convention against Eliud Miller and you'd probably have to work with him despite your loss, right? It's anybody's game, right? But I think it's something to ponder, because at the end of the day, the way how, like I said, Belize people, they try pitting against each other. Sometimes when you lose to somebody else, it kind of feel difficult to go back and work with that person, given all that has transpired, right? And that's where the level of maturity comes in and the understanding that it's business, not personal. Have you given that any thought?
Well, the first misconception is that once you win, you're in the Congo. Once you lose, you have an opportunity back in the Congo, so that's not it. This is a risk it all. So if you lose as mayor, you're out, right? So there's no working with anybody after that, unless it's in a different space. But I do have a lot of respect for my opponent, and I do believe that he's a professional and I'm a professional as well. So I believe in any capacity we have the ability to work with each other well. So that's not something that I fear. In terms of losing in general, that's not something I really give much thought to. Of course, it's there, it's something that's behind your mind, but at the end of the day, it's also not the end of the world, right? If you're saying that you're serious about public service, you're serious about people, then you just have to hit back the ground again. I mean, I know what losing feels like, and I know how taxing it is for the people around you. But at the same time, it's your responsibility to inspire your people, pick them up, and wipe their tears, and hit the ground again. So that's something that I've experienced. That's something that I know as a risk, but at the same time, it's not a hindrance to my ambitions of moving forward.
All right, Allan. Final plug. You're an entrepreneur and a businessman, right? That camera right there. Sell yourself to the people. Why should
as
they
a businessman or
vote
as a politician?
As a mayor?
Because I might just use a platform to
no,
sell my
product.
No. Yeah, but I just, right now it's a convention, so I'm sure I'll be back once we win this convention, and I have the opportunity to talk to the wider residents for the candidacy as mayor. But I will say to my delegates, to my beloved delegates that I've grown to know and love throughout my political journey, we do have a convention in August, and you guys have placed an immense amount of trust in me over the years, and that is something that I don't take lightly, I don't take for granted. And while it's me on here in front of the camera and on the ballot, I do believe that this means more to all of us than it does to me. I think this is an opportunity whereby we can continue with what we started out in 2018. I think the All About the People platform has worked well for us. And I just want to assure the public that it will continue to be all about the people once I'm elected. So thank you for the opportunity, April. Thank you, Sani. I really appreciate the talk.
All right. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll switch gears into the Belize Fund for Sustainable Future on their 5th call for proposals. We'll be right back.
The next station is not just a place, it's the vacation capital of the world. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Ever had your card declined? Now it doesn't have to be. Introducing partial authorization. If the card doesn't cover the full amount, it notifies you what's available. You can accept the partial payment and pay the missing balance with a credit card or cash. No decline. Get what you came for. Partial authorization now available. Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Prepare for the sweltering heat with a Rheem AC unit to keep you and your family cool and cozy. Get the recommended BTU for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save some much-needed cash with an inverter unit, which provides superior energy efficiency. When the heat is on, stay cool with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Rheem. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and joining us for our second conversation. It's all about the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future's 5th call for concept papers. And joining us on the couch is Chelsea Gill Anthony, and she is the communications officer over at Belize Fund. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Josue Oliva, and he's the program manager over at Belize Fund.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
And thank you so much for being here. This is the 5th call for concept papers, another opportunity for persons that have sustainable development or sustainable concepts projects for them to get a chance to get some money to build on those projects, right? So let's talk about the fund itself, what it's for, and how can persons tap into it. Chelsea?
All right. So the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future, or Belize Fund for short, is a private conservation trust fund. And that's a whole mouthful. So
yes.
Essentially, we manage the monies under the Belize Blue Bonds, and we invested in ocean conservation initiatives. So we're looking at maybe climate adaptation, research, science, building resilience, blue business innovation, innovative initiative that uses the blue resources, right?
Okay. Yes, I'll continue and then I'll ask a question.
Right? And like you mentioned, this is the 5th call, so it's 5 years going, and we are looking for or inviting eligible entities that have ideas on how they want to contribute to the coastal and marine environment for Belize.
I think that for the layman that might not necessarily know what all of these big technical terms mean, is this for communities as well? How can they tap into this?
Right, so eligible entities include non-government entities or organizations, community-based organizations, civil society. You're looking at women's group, youth group, associations, private companies. So this is for any non-government organization, but they have to be registered in Belize with the Belize Company Registry, and they also have to be operating a minimum of 1 year. Now, we have 2 types of grants, and my colleague here will get more into it, but there's one where it accommodates emerging or newer entities that are that may not have the capacity to manage a grant of, say, a 50,000. They've not managed a project of that size, but they have good ideas and they have been working in their communities at a smaller scale, and so they need that push, you know, that added level of finance so that they could scale up what they're doing. And so we have the community grants window, which targets those smaller community or smaller organizations that they can access funding now to move their projects forward.
Let's get into
right. So, being eligible to apply for funding, as Chelsea mentions, it's 3, right? You have to be registered, as Chelsea mentioned. You have to be operational in Belize for at least 1 year. And you have to show the level of project management, project implementation capacity. And when we started, we only had the regular grants where you have to meet those 3 requirements. I always say the first 2 are basic binaries. You either have it or you don't have it. And the third one is more based on qualitative, right? Based on your experience, based on your technical capacity, your financial capacity, and so on. And what we had noticed is that it had limited or boxed out emerging organizations that are also dependent on our resources. They also use it, and therefore they should also be able to benefit. So open the community grants, which allows entities like that are emerging to be able to access up to 100,000 Belize dollars for a period of 2 years to implement projects that can support marine conservation and coastal as well. So it allows them to be able to bring in these ideas, these innovative ideas, to be able to do something. We provide the financial support, but it's still their project, it's still their idea, it's still their initiative.
So this is the 5th call for proposal. What would you say have been one of the takeaways, or what has been one of the lessons we've learned over the past 4 that we're now sort of either applying to this 5th one, or we want to see change in the 5th round?
So I think access has been one of the key issues. A lot of people or groups have noted that they have not been able to access, and so the fund has had to innovate, create new spaces or new ways. So with the inclusion of the community grants, that's a big deal for us. Now we have the fisher associations that were not able to get funding. Now we have 3 associations funded, or 4? 3?
3 right now.
Inclusive of the shark fishers.
Correct, going to 4, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
3 going on 4.
Yeah.
Right, so, and then we also have businesses like Barranco Botanics who are making soaps. We also have the creative spaces with creative imageries, teaching young people and women how to do animation and bring their stories of marine conservation to life. So we have, and then also the amounts. First, we started off at 75,000 for community grants. Then we went down to 50. Now we increased it to 100,000, right? So it's about learning and how do you say, strategizing, moving forward, changing it to fit what the needs are that we're seeing.
I've always pondered this, right? For the most part, these are grassroots communities and groups that are, you know, wanting to get involved in conservation, in this case marine conservation. But to get to proposals, you need to have grant writing and all of these other things,
Skills,
which is technical, right? So how do you now take what you require from a technical perspective and expect it from people who are the average man and woman when they try to put this thing forward?
That's an interesting question, Isani, and that's part of our adaptive management processes. That's part of what we have been strategizing. When we started, we noticed proposals, you know, when they go to the committees that review it from a technical perspective, they have to go back, fix the metrics, fix the outputs. You know, if we use those terms, the impact might need to be revised, it's not reflected. So we heard that. And especially if we want to target emerging organizations, that's definitely something that we have to consider. And what we have been doing is that once you apply for your concept, and basically a concept is just a broad idea of what you want to do, not going into the details, just tell us plain and straight. It's basically like your elevator speech, you know?
Right.
Once you have done that, and your concept, we review it and ensure that it's aligned with what the fund wants and what we can fund. Then in the development of your full proposal, the fund provides you with that support, with that proposal writing support. So you have a technical person that will be directly connecting with you, that will be communicating daily and helping you write your proposals, right? Additionally, that's from the community grants. This year, another change that we're making is that in the regular grants for organizations that are applying for large grants, we're also providing a workshop where we'll bring them in and have a proposal development session or a workshop with them where we help them, you know, brainstorm and put together a logical framework and how to write it out. So it provides that level of opportunity for them to, you know, they might not speak what I would say the donor's language, but basically we're saying the same thing.
Can we have two entities collaborate and send in one concept note?
Of course. Of course, one will be the leading entity and the other one will be the supporting, what we call the junior applicant, right? It will be through the first one, the leading entity, but of course with the support of the other one.
What can you, if you can, provide us with some of the applicants that have done very well, have been successful projects within the past 4 years?
Well, we've had several. One that Chelsea likes to touch on is a project that we've had up north, where we refurbished one of the Manatee rehabilitation centers.
Oh, that's at Sarteneja?
Yes, in Sarteneja. Yeah. In Sarteneja. That was an interesting, and it was a very simple project by its nature in terms of its design, but the impact it has had has been a lot, right? We've also had, I think you've heard of the Created Images Motion Art Studios with the videos that they have created. That's another interesting one too. Another one up north, and maybe I'm sticking much to up north, but you have like 3 lagoons there too, doing restoration or mangrove restoration and replanting there. So
in Sarteneja.
Yes, in the Sarteneja. So we've had a lot of interesting projects, and we want to open it to others as well that want to have this opportunity to be part of these innovative ideas that the Belize Fund support, to also be to also apply.
So when is the applications are open? When do they close?
So before I get into that, I would just want to add that the Belize Fund has 4 thematic areas under which fundings can be applied, right? Or your project has to align to. We have the protection for biodiversity, and then we have sustainable fisheries, climate resilience, and blue businesses. For this call, we're focusing on 3 of them, which is the Sustainable Fisheries project that looks at maintaining or improving our fish stocks, data catch logs, monitoring programs, sustainable fisheries. We're also looking at climate resilience project that looks at nature-based solutions. We're also looking at blue businesses, as Chelsea mentioned, projects or ideas, innovative ideas that depend on the use, or businesses that depend on the use of the marine ocean. So the call is opening on the 20th of July. So you can go to our website, you'll see the big, and I hope it's very big, right, Chelsea? The big apply button.
Yeah.
And then on there, you will be able to see the concept paper where you fill out.
Awesome. And is it like you said just now, it's, the concept paper is just kind of like your pitch per
Exactly.
se. What happens if they advance to like the next round and so on?
So you will get a response. The call closes, the concept paper stage call closes on the 7th of August. And then we take roughly about 4 weeks to review it. And then we'll provide a response to them. When we provide a response, we'll let them know that their proposal has been accepted or not accepted. And then we will also let them know, give them their individual access to developing their proposal and the contact person of who will be supporting them for their proposal writing.
Awesome. Well, I know that there have been great projects that have come out of the Belize Fund, and so I have to say congratulations to the projects that have been well implemented. I know that they're for us and for future generations to come. So good job, and thank you all so much. The call for concept notes for the Belize Fund opens the 20th of July and closes the 7th of August. If you have a project in mind that you'd like to throw in your hat, head on over to the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future website and apply today. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go into Girls Empower-preneur summer program.
Means every dollar counts.
As a business owner, you face different challenges every day. You need cash flow on hand as soon as you can.
With Belize Bank's same-day settlement, transactions settled by 4 p.m. are credited the very same night.
The same-day settlement will definitely make a difference for my business because I know I have money in the bank, so I can pay my suppliers, my staff, etc.
Faster access to your funds, better cash flow, greater control. And with auto settlement, it's done for you every day. Same-day settlement from Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
When a child is asked to marry or live like an adult in an intimate relationship before turning 18, this is called child marriage or early union. Belize law states that no one under the age of 18 can get married. Even with the alleged consent of parents, it is illegal.
To learn more, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy 8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I hear they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God, Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance. He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
When your baby feels comfortable, you feel confident. Because every little moment deserves protection you can trust. Kushkin's diapers are designed with ultra-absorbent layers that lock in leaks while staying soft, dry, and gentle on delicate skin. So your baby can play freely and you can enjoy every smile without worry. Kushkin's diapers, comfort they feel, protection you trust. Kushkin's diapers and wipes are available countrywide at a supermarket near you.
Maria's was planned to open in 2020, and that's when COVID came. I thought the dream was dead. People would come to my house, they would purchase the coffees from there. That gave me the little confidence like, okay, I could do this. Atlantic Bank, of course, helped me take the next step. Once I had their support, it was smooth sailing from there. This business is my life. It's literally what provides my family with food and employment. I employ 3 family members, so it's really everything for us.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Insurance fact. Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, construction projects can receive insurance coverage from start to finish? We offer a variety of bonds. This includes bid bonds, advance payment bond, performance bonds, or others. Let Home Protector be a part of your team and help safeguard you through your next project. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
The next station is not just a place. It's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we are joined by some lovely ladies from Empower-preneur summer program, and we have with us on the couch Teresa Isabel, and she is the organizer of Girls Empower-preneur summer program. Good morning, Isabel.
Good morning, thank
and you
you.
brought some of your lovely participants with us this morning. We
Yes.
have on the couch Unique, Asia, and Tiana. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
All right, so for our viewers that might not know, I know that the program has ended, but what is Empower-preneur and why did you think that there was a need for this sort of camp?
Yes, of course. So it's a empowerment camp. It's a 5-day program that teaches essential life skills. So the girls have 5 days of workshops and sessions where they learn about financial literacy. They learn about entrepreneurship skills, leadership skills, self-confidence, self-awareness, and it's just been so impactful for the past 5 years.
Wow. When you first started, I know you listed what they're going to learn at the workshop, but what was your main objective for this program? What did you really want?
It was more so for us to break barriers, right? To get into places where we don't normally see ourselves and to ensure that the girls have confidence to create any opportunities that they want, anything that they set their mind on, to give them the skills to go ahead and pursue it.
Okay. And young ladies, I know that you're here today as participants of the program, but how did you hear about it and why did you apply to be a part of it? Let's start with you, Unique.
So I live in Belize. I went to Hopkins for the summer. My aunt told me about the summer program and I was interested. It sounded fun.
Okay.
Well, for me, the only reason I joined the program was because I'm a part of a scholarship that believes that they should give us a chance to partake in such programs. So they believe that I should have, be a part of it, and that's why I was a part of the program.
Okay. So basically for me, I live in Orange Walk. I went to Hopkins for the summer, and when we got there, our aunt, her mom, she introduced the camp to us, and we were excited and kind of nervous.
Why nervous?
Because like we were getting to meet new people. We didn't know like how it will go, but we joined anyway. It was a very exciting opportunity.
How old are you guys?
I'm 16.
I'm 15.
14.
Okay, so is this for girls roughly around this age?
Yes, so 10 to 17. I mean, I do also mentor women as well, so I have workshops depending on the age group, but this particular camp was for ages 10 to 17.
And how important is it for you guys to learn these basic life skills, including financial literacy? How important is it for you guys to understand what that means and how you implement that in your lives down the road?
Well, for me, I believe that financial literacy and entrepreneurship takes a big role in every young woman's life, because at the end of the day, me myself, I'm a big spender. So
I'm glad you walk it.
Yes, I'm a big spender, so I believe that I should learn how to properly budget and save my money, so that I can, build a saving for myself and understand how to spend my money responsibly.
Now this program was held in Hopkins.
In Dangrega.
In Dangrega. And so it is important. I love the statement on your shirt that says "Girls of Color take over." This particular program, is it for girls of color? Is it for girls that are trying to speak into their power? And
of course, yes, absolutely. Great question. So when we talk about girls of color, we're talking about the entire spectrum, right? We're not leaving anybody out. And I strongly believe that it doesn't matter where a girl comes from, despite her background, she should still have the opportunity to thrive in this world. And so, we're talking about, Latin, Black, Spanish, everybody, and if you can see, it's a diverse of girls in the group, and so we're looking to expand and to just take the program throughout Belize. So we do have some girls from Hopkins. We have, of course, the program was held in Dangrega, where it's held every year annually in the summer. And so the goal is to really make sure that we introduce it to more girls to be a part of the impact that it's becoming.
What inspired you to launch this initiative and to keep it growing year on year?
Yeah, so as a woman of color myself, right, and just knowing how sometimes it's challenging to get into opportunities or for doors to open for you, and so I've had to deal with that myself, had to break some barriers and try to get to where I needed to be. And so I wanted to make sure that the next generation coming up behind me didn't have to go through the same, challenges, and to teach them, number one, how to know their worth, right? And to also, these life skills are very essential to helping them open doors for them in the future, whether it's a professional career or something personal in their life. These life skills are essential at this age, and I'm glad that I'm able to introduce it to them at an early age, where that it can start to, tap into them, and they can carry it on into their journey. But it's so important that I don't leave no girl behind, right? That, the girls that are coming up behind me understand the importance of leadership, and they could take it in any part of their journey, wherever their life takes them. But these skills are important, and, I use my education and my experience to train them and to teach them the skills as well.
Well, I know Asia, she brought up financial literacy, right? But what were some other day-to-day activities and stuff that they learned? Unique or Tiana, you want to chime in?
Self-awareness, that stuck out to me. Self-awareness taught me to better understand my weakness and my strengths, and just made me confident in who I am.
For me, what stood out the most was leadership, because I'm not much of a talker, and it helped to build my leadership skills. So yeah, it was a really like enjoyable topic for us.
I mean, you're speaking very well, so I imagine that it's working. But I also love one of the things that you're talking about is confidence, right? From the get-go, these girls sat here, they presented themselves. Also, all of your hair looks fantastic. I need to know, want to get this done. But it's also about like feeling well in your own skin and having that confidence shine through. Did you collaborate with anybody for this program, or is it just you doing all of the training?
Of course. So I had I had one amazing partner that came with me from the U.S., Dr. Lori Norris, and we spoke about what part that she would facilitate throughout the program, and so she did the financial literacy workshop. I also this year incorporated emotional intelligence, which was really important, especially in the climate that we're in right now. These are some essential, conversations to discuss, and then the leadership. In regards to partnerships and sponsors, I definitely want to take this moment to thank my partners and sponsors this year. We had the youth development services were really a part of our partnership this year. I want to thank Belizean Dreams. For anybody who's in the South, make sure you guys visit them. I also want to thank Shaw Lenore Hotel, Paul's Guest House. There's so many people that were really supportive of us this year. And what's really good is that they also have an advocate for youth empowerment, right? And so when you partner with organizations that support the mission and that really believe in what you're doing to empower the next generation and the youths, it's a really good alignment. And so to have these as my partners and sponsors, it makes a difference, and it continues to make the programs a success.
How many girls did you facilitate this program?
So this year we had 30 that signed up.
Wow. Yes. That's a lot to handle.
Yeah, and and the good thing about it too is this year I would say about maybe 40% of the girls this year are new to the program. We've had some that's been in the program for that comes back every year, and I've watched their growth. It's just so amazing and rewarding to see that. But we had some really good new members this year, and I'm super excited to watch their journey and continue to mentor them as well.
Do you believe that, and this is for you young ladies, that 5 days was enough for you to capture everything?
Well, in my opinion, it was not.
Expand this program.
The 5 days was very educational in my opinion, because we got to go on trips, we got to learn a lot of knowledgeable information, and to me it could have been more days so that we can enjoy it more with the new friends and the new bonds that we created, and just to enjoy the program more.
Yeah. And speaking about the trip too, I want to also just give a really good shout out to Mayan World. We had a wellness day, and we partnered with them, and another place for everyone to go visit, please. They're just incredible for wellness, relaxation, and the girls did deserve a well-rested day where they can connect and with nature and just feel well about themselves. And that's always important too. Despite whatever journey you're on, you always have to have that moment of wellness. And so this year I incorporated a wellness trip. Last year we did a business trip where they went to visit different businesses and learn about entrepreneurship. But this year I said it's important to still have that mental well-being, and so we partnered with Mayan World, which I'm really grateful for their partnership.
It seems like this program is definitely one of a kind, because I wish this program may exist when I was your age. But based on what you've learned, ladies, I don't know what you want to be when you grow up, but how do you think that this program will impact perhaps moving forward and into your future?
So for me, I want to be an accountant. So the topic that mainly was contributing to that was the financial literacy, to learn how to budget, how to manage your money and stuff like that. So that was a really contributing topic to my future occupation.
Anybody else?
Well, the career that I chose is to become a nurse, and if I am really thinking about it, it's well-being and emotional intelligence, because at the end of the day, a nurse needs to know how to speak to her patient and comfort, and you just like ease their minds off whatever. So I believe that emotional intelligence was the topic that stood out to me the most.
Mine is the same as hers. I want to become a neurosurgeon, a surgeon that works on the brain.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
So emotional intelligence. Yes, ma'am. Love it. And I love what I'm hearing, because I think that whenever we want girls to feel empowered, you have to give them the skills to be able to take on the world, as you have, Girls of Color Take Over. But this has been an excellent initiative, and do you have the plans for this program to come out next year and still in Dangriga as well?
Of course, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, you know, it's a movement at this point and it's really growing, and I'd love to partner with other organizations to expand it throughout Belize. And so I'm working on some things now, but you know, if anyone's interested in partnering and seeing how we can grow and make a bigger impact in our country, I would love to collaborate and make more impact with our youth.
Where can they learn more about this program, and how can they reach you if needed?
Of course, yes. So I'm on social media, but the main place to connect with me would be on my website. It's teresaisabel.com. So it's TeresaIsabel.com.
Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and
Congratulations. Yes.
Sounds like it was a wonderful program, and of course we love to hear more about your initiatives in the future.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we're back to wrap things up, so don't go away.
Football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
My name is Jadian Labern Ikal. I am 15 years old and I am a third-term student at Karasang Creek Technical High School. For a long time, Machakilha was quiet. Wrapped in the jungle, we felt cut off from the rest of Belize. No internet, no shops for food, and no health care. To get to school, it was an 1.5-hour hike. During the rainy season, the mud was almost knee-high. Sometimes we even had to swim across a flooded creek just to get to class. When the sun went down, I did my homework by the light of a candle. We could never stay up late to study. We had to save the candles for the next night. In May 2022, everything changed. The road finally reached Machakilha. Today, it is easy for me to go to school because we have a bus that comes right into our village. I don't have to hike through the bush anymore. I don't have to worry about the rain or the flooded creek. I can just focus on being a student. Now that we have solar lights at night, I feel confident. My homework is finished with ease, and studying for my science classes doesn't feel so tiring anymore. we finally feel connected to the rest of our country. Having these basic services makes us feel like we can be more productive, like we finally have the same chance as everyone else. My dream is to become a nurse and help the people in my village. Now that we're connected, I know my future is bright.
The Ministry of Rural Transformation continues to work with communities like Machakilha, transforming lives and strengthening communities across Belize.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for sticking with us. And I think thank you to all of our guests that came in, had the conversation. Of course, we had the opportunity to speak to mayoral aspirant from the People's United Party, Allan Pollard Jr. We also had a conversation with folks from the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future on their concept paper call. So you want to get into that, follow them on their website. And of course, we wrap things up with Empower-preneur summer program. And it's all about just mentoring girls to come into their truth and just to be good leaders in this country, future leaders in this country. So thank you to all of our guests, and a big thank you to you, our viewers, because without you, this would not be possible. It is July 13th, and if it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oie@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, and check out our highlights on Instagram at OYEBelize. You can also catch us on TikTok at openyoureyes.bz. And if you have a question that you want to call us or text us at, we have a WhatsApp number at 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Till then, keep your eyes, your minds,
And your hearts open.
Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, Belize. Good morning and goodbye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.